A coworker sends an email containing a sexually explicit video. The production quality is high, the content is graphic, and the person on the screen is you, even though you never filmed a second of it. In Columbus, Ohio, several women didn't have to imagine this scenario. For them, these videos were a reality, arriving without warning or consent. Investigators identified 37-year-old James Strawser as the source. He used sophisticated artificial intelligence to scrape the faces of his victims and graft onto pornographic material, weaponizing their own likenesses against them. This marks a shift in the nature of cyberstalking. By using digital code to hijack a person's identity, predators can now inflict profound psychological trauma without ever making physical contact. Before 2025, the U.S. legal system lacked specific federal statutes to address this type of AI-driven harassment. Existing laws were designed for a pre-synthetic media environment. When victims reported these graphic videos, local law enforcement often encountered jurisdictional hurdles. They lacked the precise legal definitions required to prosecute the creators of deepfake imagery effectively. Strawser's campaign of harassment occurred during a period where authorities were grappling with how to classify these AI-generated forgeries under existing criminal codes. The speed of generative AI development created a window where the technology outran the reach of the justice system, leaving targets of digital abuse with few avenues for protection. To build his campaign, Strawser used a massive digital toolkit. Investigators discovered over 24 AI platforms and 100 web models funneling data into his smartphone. This setup allowed an assembly line of abuse, generating over 700 graphic videos. His targets were local. He stole the likenesses of adult women he had dated, as well as minor boys from his own community, to produce sexually explicit synthetic media. Strawser then used this material for extortion. He sent deepfakes to the victims' coworkers and even contacted the mothers of the women he targeted, demanding real explicit photos under the threat of releasing the fabricated content. These actions constituted a calculated, industrialized campaign of harassment, executed entirely through digital tools. Due to the scale of the operation and the nature of the content, local authorities escalated the case to federal investigators at the FBI. This move coincided with a major shift in federal law. In May 2025, the Take It Down Act was signed, providing the specific legal mechanism needed to address AI-generated exploitation. The legislation received bipartisan support and was specifically championed by First Lady Melania Trump, who lobbied lawmakers to provide victims a path to justice. The law provides two primary tools. It makes the publication of non-consensual deepfakes a federal crime punishable by prison, and it requires online platforms to remove reported material within 48 hours. The act serves as a legal patch, designed to counter the malicious use of generative AI that had previously fallen into a jurisdictional gray area. Under the weight of federal evidence and the new statute, James Strawser pleaded guilty. This marks the first federal conviction in U.S. history under the Take It Down Act. He now faces federal prison time, with the most severe penalties tied to the material he generated involving minors. While this case addresses one perpetrator, the national data reveals the true scope of the crisis. In 2025 alone, authorities received over 1.5 million tips regarding AI and online exploitation. The conviction in Ohio proves the law is enforceable, though the national data highlights that this specific case is part of a much broader systemic issue. This first conviction establishes a precedent for future cases. It sends a clear signal that the justice system will now hold digital predators accountable for manufacturing synthetic evidence. However, this legal success is set against a challenging technological reality. Generative AI tools are becoming more accessible, faster, and exponentially more realistic every day. The justice system now has the authority to prosecute these crimes. The question remains whether legal frameworks can evolve at the same rate as the tools used to threaten digital privacy. The Take It Down Act provides a critical tool for accountability, but the task of securing digital identities in the age of AI remains an ongoing challenge.